In today's video, I will be showing the installation of our Keter Darwin 4x6 foot storage shed, which we actually are using as an outhouse for our glamping tents and my retreat business. We purchased a Nature's Head composting toilet, and I can share more of a review on that later. We're so thankful to everyone who reviewed the Nature's Head toilet on YouTube in the past because it really helped solidify our decision to go this route. We are set up in an area where plumbing would be very difficult to run to this spot, and I didn't necessarily want to rent a porta potty every single weekend that I host a retreat, which will hopefully be monthly starting next year. This is typically a two-person job, but with Ryan having had shoulder surgery, I am assembling this all on my own on this particular day, which if you watch the trees, you can see was a little bit of a windy day. The project proved to be pretty challenging for that reason and because I am also only 5'2" tall. But in the next few sequences, I will talk to you a little bit more about why we chose this, why we're putting it where we did, and what all was involved with the setup. So I've been working to make a pallet platform for the outhouse. I was able to move it out of the way because it's definitely a fairly flimsy base, and it would be nice to have it sitting up on something so that when it rains like it has, it's not sitting in mud, which is what was happening. So it was definitely kind of trying to pull out of the base. And so if I can level some pallets, which we have plenty of, then that will make for a nice platform here. Ryan tried to smooth it out with the tractor, with the bucket on the tractor, and he was just having trouble. I mean, first of all, he's trying to steer with one arm and just having trouble seeing in the shadows here, like what he was doing to come down. I got bugs swarming me. He was trying to push it, but it's just mud right now. So it was difficult to work with. He wasn't quite hitting the ground. Then when he did, it would scrape it all down to the end and he couldn't really scoot it back. So without like a box blade or something, from what I understand is what you would use to really level out the ground, this did not work great. So now I've got this pile of dirt here at the end, and I'm going to try to smooth that out to put the pallet floor down. The outhouse is looking great. This is, it's definitely flimsy, and I'll give a full sort of review of this once I'm done putting it together, but it was easy to move, which is good and bad because it's nice to be able to move it out of the way and set up the floor, but at the same time, the first storm we get might carry it off to the cattle pasture. But we'll see. That's why I'm really determined to put it right up against this tree so that it's blocked by the wind, so that it has some shade in the morning and it won't be hot in there all day long. And also offer a little privacy when you got to trot off to the bathroom, you be out of the way. So this is what's happening here. So I will keep getting to work flattening it out, and I will let you know the process that I used and how it turned out. In hindsight, I would have put the tents all the way at the other end and put the outhouse here at the edge of the flat pad. And when we take these down for the winter and redo them next spring, that's probably what I'll do. But this does make for a really nice little place tucked out of the way, very discreet. It's in the shade for most of the morning because the other thing I don't want is for it to be super hot in the blazing sun. I mean, if you've been in a really hot porta-john on a hot day at a festival, you know that's pretty gross. So this is about twice the size of a regular porta-john, and it will have a composting toilet, but it still has the probably the propensity to get really hot. So it'd be nice to have it in the shade over here. And so I'm going to see if I can get the pallets level on the dirt we scraped and then used some rocks to prop it up and get it level. So I'm gonna go grab a couple more pallets because it needs to be 2 wide by 4 deep so that the sides don't hang off, and that'll give us a nice square platform for this to sit on. Okay, well, that didn't work. There's a serious low spot in the middle, and it's kind of where it was showing that it wasn't level, but I was hoping it would sit on all fours, but it's so flimsy in the middle that I'm gonna have to put something to prop up the center, because that's where people will stand to go, you know, like to sit down on the toilet. So we definitely want to make sure the middle is flat. Ryan's back in his happy place. This is about all he can do with one arm, but he loves it. Mowing. And here I am trying to make progress on the outhouse. I have it on the pallets. It was a little uneven in the middle, so I stuck a tile underneath from the side, and I think it'll be better, but it's still gonna be a little lumpy in the center. Yeah, I got a little bit of a low spot, but it'll do. So this is where 2 people would come in handy. The window keeps wanting to fall out when I push on the inside to screw in the screws, so I'm gonna have to wait until Ryan gets over here to help me, and that way he can push from the outside while I screw from the inside. A lot of times when you're using like an impact driver, it'll like suck pieces of wood together when you screw them in, but with this plastic that's just not the case. So this window is about to be my kryptonite. Kind of this whole project is supposed to take an hour, and I think I'm on like hour 5 because we did take an hour break for lunch. We've taken some water breaks, and I'm doing it by myself. Not so easy. I was editing that video of the outhouse assembly and realized A, it's kind of boring, and B, I didn't have any footage of the finished product. So to make it way more exciting and bring it full circle, I'm going to show you how it turned out. And it went through a weekend of use at the retreat and was very successful. So I'll give you a little bit of insight into how we used the composting toilet and how well everything worked. Here is the finished outhouse. It was purchased on Amazon, and I can't remember the brand, so I'll put it in the notes. It was one that was pretty new on the site, and I bought it and loved it because of this little window here, and that way there's a little bit of light that comes in when you're using the bathroom. Ryan, of course, went back and read reviews and said, oh, they're terrible. I can understand to some degree, because it is, I mean, for what it was, $599. It's fairly flimsy. Oh, it looks like it's Keter brand or Keter. So Keter, Keter. It's definitely unassembled, fairly flimsy plastic, but it turned out really perfect for exactly what we needed it for, which is an outhouse for our glamping tents that are over here. And so all 3 tents share the outhouse. We even had somebody who came in a converted Jeep, and so she was able to use this as well. You can see that we have a little wash stand set up, and that is our 30-gallon barrel full of water. We pumped water into here. It's got a little spigot that Ryan attached. He drilled the hole and put this on here. So it just turns, and of course water comes out. We had soap and paper towels set up, so hand soap. Anyone that wanted to use it could wash their hands here or wash up, because we don't have an outdoor shower yet for our glampers, but this serves as any kind of wash station. At the end of the assembly video, I still had the, oh, there's my lovely shadow. I still had the outhouse kind of in the middle, and we ended up moving it all the way to the edge because that was where we could get it to be the sturdiest. But if you follow me inside, it is, ooh, there's the composting toilet and the paper towel or toilet paper holder. I put a nice little rug in here, and then I gave a little bit of instruction on how to use the toilet. This is the Nature's Head composting toilet. We watched a ton of videos on it before we purchased it because it's about $1,000. So far so good, although I will say this handle is a little bit tricky and I don't think I have it on correct. So it doesn't turn real well, and it has to be able to turn in order to mix up the stuff that it needs to compost. We also are not using the fan because we don't have electricity over here, but we do have the hose vented to the outside. So I just used a hole saw and cut there, and eventually we'll probably want to tape that off to avoid bugs getting in. Have a little air freshener, the coconut core that we're using in the toilet, and then this little sign that tells people how to use it. So there's 2 holes in the front that are for urine, and then there's a flap that opens for number 2, and then you can put the paper down, and then you need to turn it a couple times after you go number 2. So everyone seemed to use it fine. They were comfortable with it. I need to put a little spray bottle with vinegar and water for people to wipe out the toilet or spray the toilet and let it run down when it's done. So it helps keep the smell down and avoid any residue. But overall, it worked out great. There's a little window that you really can't see in when somebody's in here. So this allowed a little bit of light to come in. We did have, so that obviously because this latch is on the outside, I screwed a little, or drilled a couple of little holes and put this little latch so it doesn't shut real tight. But you know, it was a women's retreat. We were all out here among friends, so we couldn't close it all the way, but nobody really was hovering outside the bathroom when anyone else was trying to use it. So that worked out great. I'll work on a little bit more of a tight fitting latch at some point, but got that done in a pinch. So overall, a very successful use of this shed. Very successful experience with the Nature's Head composting toilet, and very successful with the retreat. Overall, everyone loved it and didn't mind using the outhouse at all. So if you want to come glamp with us, you can check out our website, parttimepastures.com, or my website for my themed retreats at thebravekind.com. Be sure to subscribe to our channel, like this video, and comment if you have any questions about our setup. Thanks for watching.